description of the environment is the place is wild, not for the Italians, but for these Englishmen. And they were applauding them, they were describing them as wonderful, they were elegant, not a ball was passed, it wasn't got by another player. It was an amazing match. The one thing that this village has great pride in is the fact that a team of nobody miners, that no one gave any credit to, went across from this little village and represented England and hammered the best in the world in football and come back. You point to another village in the United Kingdom who could boast such a thing.
From the depths of the coal mines to the height of footballing glory, this statue commemorates the first ever World Cup champions. In 1909, a tournament was held in Italy. It was not between national teams, but by local clubs that represented their countries. The victors? A team of nobody miners from the tiny village of West Auckland. The tournament was the brainchild of Sir Thomas Lipton, the connoisseur most famous for his very own brand of tea.
Sir Thomas Lipton wanted to organise it himself and get the English FA involved, but he didn't want to be concerned anywhere with it, so he decided to do it all on his own. And now we got West Auckland. I know they keep saying about Woolwich Arsenal were invited, but if you read the new book, it wasn't, it was West Auckland. But I still believe that one of his employers was a linesman in the Northern League, and he asked him to try and find a team to go and compete in this World Cup over in Italy.
So West Auckland were invited to Turin. The team, led by their secretary, Sidney Barron, travelled across England by train. They then caught a ferry to France. Many of the team had never even seen the sea, never mind sailed on it, and then they caught a train to Turin.
But once they went on onto the field, they then began to describe them as beautiful, flexible. Yeah, you couldn't believe some of the descriptions that they gave these players because they played marvellously. And in their first match, they won it easily. And then in the final, when they met Winter Thor in 1909, again, beautiful score, and they walk away with the trophy.
The Seagrave Stadium might not be the most recognised name in football, but in West Auckland, the World Cup victors are heroes.
The one thing that this village has great pride in is the fact that a team of nobody miners, that no one gave any credit to, went across from this little village and represented England and hammered the best in the world in football and come back. You point to another village in the United Kingdom who could boast such a thing.
Then in 1911, the club were invited back to Turin for a second tournament. It was a chance to defend their title against none other than the Italian giants Juventus. And they won. A replica of the cup still stands pride of place in the local working men's club. The original was stolen in 1994 and has since never been found.
Of all the things we've done to try and get it back, I once went on a Philip Schofield programme in London, not long after it, to try and find it, and nobody ever knew. The police, I don't know, they were lost on it.
The best, most heartwarming part about this competition and the victory of West Auckland Football Club is that the team were made up of nobodies. They were all working class men who made a living down the pit. They didn't play professionally and they didn't get paid to play football. Even though they had tremendously hard and dangerous lives, these men did it all out of the love for the sport. Then, as if by chance, I discovered that one of the players shared my not-so-common surname. Being from the area, I set out to see if there was a possibility that we were related. I turned to my auntie, who had researched our family tree some years ago for some much-needed help.
I'm going to help you try and trace back to the famous World Cup victory, where one of our ancestors, our relations, played for the team that when they defended their title for the second time in 2017, I beg your pardon, 1911. He scored his name was Joe Rucastle, and he married Elizabeth and they had a daughter, Ruth, and he scored one of the goals to his fame.
And they took that match by the scruff of the neck, and they just went at it. And then Moore scored the first goal. Then Appleby got a beautiful header. And then Rewcastle comes in and gets the third goal. Then Dunn gets a goal. Then Moore gets a goal. And Dunn, and it's just a great, you want the description of the environment is the place is wild.
Searching through my family tree wasn't as easy as I first thought it would be. But after plenty of digging, I found out that one of my ancestors, George Swan Rewcastle, is also Joe's grandfather. George was born in 1810 in Northumberland. He moved to West Auckland in the 1840s with his wife Ruth and their 10 children to take a job as a coal miner at a nearby colliery. So, as if by chance, I stumble across this name, Joseph Rewcastle. He was a goal scorer in a 1911 final of the Sir Thomas Lipton Trophy and a simple coal hewer from West Auckland. He was also a part of my family. Joseph was George's grandson. He was taken to Italy with the West Auckland team in 1909, but was never given the chance to play. Then, in 1911, at the age of 27, he joined the team on their triumphant win over Juventus, scoring one of the 6 goals that would lead them to victory. It's no secret that people in the Northeast live and die by their football club. It's a passion that's born in the playground, and it's the maker of legends. I grew up with my own season ticket. I would go to games every weekend and I would die by my team. I also grew up absorbed in the story of the Sir Thomas Lipton Trophy. I was taught the history at school. I used to play at the Seagrave as a kid, and I spent my childhood growing up in the village that is right at the heart of that story. Yet I had never imagined that this magic tale of triumph and victory could really get any closer to home. It just makes the whole story that little bit